The thing that most struck me is I've never seen so many unaccompanied children, because over half the people in Katapalong and the surrounding settlements are children under the ages of 18.
And what does that do to you? I mean, you're a mother of 4 children.
Yes. I mean, I met so many women who were heads of household, so many children who didn't know where their parents were. It is deeply, deeply upsetting. I mean, their lives are not only precarious because of what they've experienced and the oncoming monsoons, but also they're ripe for exploitation because they don't have that sort of family support in a very patriarchal society.
And of course, you know, you did manage to talk and see quite a few people. And also, I think you talk about the monsoons, and everybody's concerned because, forget a refugee crisis, Bangladesh is prone to the worst kinds of flooding and monsoons.
Well, I mean, yes, it's not only one of the wettest countries on earth, but it's one of the poorest. And the Bangladesh government has kept the borders open, which is profoundly generous. And I saw incredible generosity of the host communities that are living cheek by jowl with you know, upwards of 1 million people in Cox's Bazar. You know, it's unsustainable without more support from the international community.
I mean, you talk about them keeping the borders open. Well, Myanmar, the military, has in the last few days done exactly the opposite. Is apparently fortifying the borders, barbed wire, berms, trenches, to try to stop these Rohingya going back, many of them to their own homes. Did you get a sense of them wanting to go back, feeling they could ever go back?
Well, I don't think I've ever experienced in my time with UNHCR a level of terror about returning home. Obviously, the Rohingya have been generationally stateless, and since the citizenship law changes in 1982, their situation within Myanmar has become increasingly perilous, and so they've been able to be sustainably educated or have access to medical services. Their movement has been curtailed. So, but what has happened is, with villages burning and the mothers and the girls that I spoke to who had themselves experienced rape. There was one girl in a community centre I met, Jasmine, who had just very matter-of-factly said that she saw her 3-year-old brother being thrown into a fire and her elder brother being dismembered and shot in front of her. As a mother, I wouldn't want to return back to that. But so, of course, the solution does rely. It takes place in Myanmar. But the UN needs to be able to get unrestricted access to make sure that those repatriations of the Rohingya people can happen in a humane and dignified way.
You know, you went to visit a school. We're going to play a little bit of video. There is still a little humanity and hope left in them. Let's have a look.
Can you show me what you're all doing? I'm doing mine. Oh, look at that, isn't that beautiful?
So you talked a little bit about the kids and the terror that they face on many occasions, but sometimes they're just happy to see an outsider who brings them a little distraction, a little love.
Yes, I think through UNHCR and the partner organisations, those children that you just saw have been given access to learning to read and write for the first time ever, because as stateless Rohingya refugees, they have not had access to education at all. And, you know, it was very distressing to hear them sing that old protest song they were singing in English. They sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star to a tune that I had never heard before. But then they began to sing, you know, I am not alone. Deep in my heart, I know that I am not alone, I am not afraid. And you want to think, I want to make that true with the support of the international community. What
do you think they need most right now?
They need incredible support to shore themselves up against the oncoming monsoons. I mean, they've been shown incredible resilience. They themselves are sandbagging the steps because, of course, the dwellings are in places where no dwellings should be. There are landslides waiting to happen, and the latrines are going to collapse, and there's going to be dysentery and cholera. So they need financial support, and the Bangladesh government and the host communities need to be supported by the international community.